Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on July 28th, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. And I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I guide just about every movement I make with. Now, with this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they have and they continue to work for me and have worked for literally thousands of others with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, this week we've been looking at spirituality and essentially its effect on life as we know it. Okay. Now, yesterday, before I get into it, right off the bat, we have LA Moon in the house. How's it going, LA? It's really getting a little tense in a way, but definitely looking forward to the destination anyway. Not so much the journey itself to get down there, but the destination definitely. Now, I was looking into it. We were talking about ritual, and prayer and that side of things in society today. But I got thinking. Yesterday, I was using the term ritual and routine a lot. But here's what I found out when I looked it up on the net. Okay, and just so I can actually put it together properly, where are we here? Go up there. According to the internet, our lungs are not working. That's okay. Okay, according to the internet, it says a ritual is a religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. Now, on the other side of that, we have a ritual, or we have a routine, which is the usual series of things you do at a particular time. A routine is also the practice of regularly doing things in a fixed order. In my interpretation, this means ritual is a religious or spiritually based routine. A routine doesn't take God into consideration on the whole. It just simply is a series of doing things, but it's still an organized effort. Now, with this in mind, okay, when you're looking at ritual, compare them both to the same thing. Now, we have right off the bat here, we have Joe Stewart is in with the gold. How you doing, Joe? Glad you could join us. And Sherry B, I do believe this is the first time I've seen you in here. Welcome aboard. Glad you could join us. Hopefully things are going well on your end. The nice part about this whole situation we as a society are facing is that we can turn this world around. Now, so many people can look at the downside of life. Now, I have been known to do that. As a matter of fact, this is one of the biggest reasons why I've looked at walking away on occasion. But here's the kicker. We have a choice. Okay, every one of you has the same choice. Whether or not you're going to focus on the positive side of life or whether you're going to follow some routine or some ritual of looking at the negative. Now, if you're intent on having a better life, it may be wise to start looking at the positive side and the things that you can control. Love to know why my throat is actually doing what it's doing. Because I'm having to almost force it out. So we'll see how that works. But how does this work with society? How do rituals and prayers work on society on the whole? Well, to this, we sort of have to go back a few thousand years, quite a few, really. And we got to understand, if the religious leaders, if the spiritual leaders, the elders, if you will, of a community are constantly focusing on what is going wrong, okay, they are going to beat the whole sense of hope out of you. This is something that's really imperative you start fighting against. Do not buy into the idea that everything has to buckle. Okay, that's your call. Now, do not get me wrong. A lot of you are going through difficult times. I admit that. Okay, but if you focus on what you have lost, if that's where your attention is, what you're going to find is you're going to find a lot more of it. It's not a question of you think about the bad happens. It's just if you constantly are focusing on the bad, that's what you're going to notice. And that result is going to seem like it happens. I do not like feeling like I'm having to push my throat. So if I get a little quiet, just let me know. That'd be appreciated. Because I will have to see how this plays out. Part of it may be lungs, but we'll figure that out. Just getting a little airflow going. Anyway, when we take a look at the way society is now, so many people focus on either mainstream religion or they focus on some spiritual path where somebody is constantly, LA goes, I've always thought that letting go of things lost makes room in my arms for what God's trying to reward me with. And it does make sense. For me, I look at it this way. If you're aiming to move forward in life, picture going across the monkey bars or something everybody can relate to. Try moving forward without moving your backmost limb anywhere. Just move the front one. See how much headway you make. When the religious community, when the spiritual guides sit there and tell you, no matter what you do, you're starting off the world, you're already bad blood. Therefore, because you're already a sinner, you're going to hell. Okay. In the spiritual path, people tell you it's better to give than to receive. It is, but understand, and I shouldn't say it's better to give than to receive, because I will tell you, in certain circumstances, way better to receive than give. Okay, take a look at your material world. If you're already financially struggling, which is better, giving away what little you have or receiving a little more? Okay, but it's a question of perspective, and it's up to you to decide which one works. Okay. Moonhawk, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You are in with the bronze, Moonhawk. Now, I'm looking at things. Let me just pull the right info up here. Now, like I said, when we're looking at routine, at ritual or routine, same thing, really. Okay. Oh, that's not what I need. When I take a look at Races of the Worlds, I'm into the last 15 pages of expansion. That'll be finished before the end of the weekend, which means, yes, I've got a little bit more I've got to add to it, but the big change is done. Okay, so we're going to see what happens. Now, You got to get into a definite pattern. Now, here's the thing. If you're religiously inclined, we call it a ritual. The morning ritual. Just a thought. If you don't have one sorted out for yourself, just a thought of what you can do. Okay. Call it a ritual if you want to go that route, or call it a routine. But you get up in the morning, same time every day, no matter if it's a day off or not. Pick a time. Now, the most successful people globally are up and on the go by 5, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Now, you get up, do what you have to in the washroom. Make your bed. Okay. The reason you do that, and of course, get dressed. Now, you do all this before you leave the bedroom. Now, the reason you do that is because it gets you already succeeding. Okay? Because the biggest obstacle you'll ever have in life is your own stubborn disposition. Sometimes it's because you get so locked into the idea, I'm going to make it happen, that you're not going to let anything stop it. Okay? Then what you do, then by getting, the bed is there, I understand from most people I talk to. Usually the bed is the most annoying job available. Get it done, get it finished. Right off the bat, you've overcome your that really annoying job. Of course, the biggest obstacle anybody faces is you wake up in the morning, get yourself out of bed. As soon as your eyes focus enough, you can see. Or if you happen to be blind, as soon as your ears are receiving well enough, you can essentially see. Either way, get out of bed, get dressed, and get on it. You're overcoming that stubborn streak of yours. And let's face it, procrastination has never done anything except put things off. Okay, now, sometimes that works out well. But here's the funny part with ritual. Okay, so many people go, I have to pray X number of times a day. And I'm all for prayer. Okay, prayer is a functional way of getting organized. Problem, the people guiding most of the prayers are telling you the world is coming to an end and you're going to guess where, and you're going to go guess where. You're going to end up, according to many of the religious peoples, you're going to end up in hell. Now, I will tell you, it's not as bad a place as what they made it out to be. Okay, but they start off on a real positive note. God loves you, but you're going hell. Okay, now, here's the thing. You get up in the morning, get things underway. The way to change your life in the future is to change it, or not in the future. The way to change your life for the future is to change it now. Now, whether you want to call it a ritual or you want to call it a routine, the choice is yours. Okay? Because as I just finished stating, the reality of it is that when you're looking at a ritual, it's religious or spiritual based. When you're looking at a routine, it's logic based. Okay? So you start changing the things you have to. But give yourself permission to do so. The most difficult part about all this is knowing whether or not you're making the change for you or you're making it for somebody else. Now, whoops, what do we got here? One of the things that we got to remember is that when a lot of people do the same thing, okay, society will change. Now, yes, politicians lay out the laws, but let's remember, you're the guy of the people that actually set the politicians in place. So they're sitting there laying out the laws. But if as a society, we start looking at the things we'd like to see happen. Okay, the government will shift gears. It may take time. Absolutely, it might. Okay, but if you're not content with your life, which would you rather do? Sit in one place and just hope it changes, hope somebody comes down and straightens it out? Or would you rather take dominant control of your own life and put it where you'd like it? I am very curious why my eyesight is shot today. Not overly happy about jumping. We may run into a problem. I'll see what I can do. But right now, it's getting harder. Definitely. But when society starts looking at each other and ignoring what the politicians and the spiritualist leaders are doing or are saying, when we choose to actually work with each other, to actually support each other, no, this ain't gonna work, guys. There is no way I'm gonna be able to carry this. So much as I do hate to do this, I am going to have to call it because I'm not going to make another 10 minutes, never mind anything else. So I will say, like I said, I'm going to have to call it a night. So, sad as this is on my part, I will be back again tomorrow, at least that's the hope. But I'm going to have to say thanks so much for dropping in. Really appreciate you taking the time to share your time with us. I will be back again tomorrow. But for tonight, I'm going to have to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me. And until we talk again, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.